Today we're going to read Walt Whitman's "O Captain, My Captain." And this was written in 1865 by the poet Walt Whitman. So let's first start off, and I know you guys watched the video prior to more of background information of why Walt Whitman wrote this poem. But I want us to give a second read to it, and then we're going to annotate together. So Zoomies, if you've not had a chance to print this, if you're able to print, go ahead and print it so that you can annotate. If you're not able to print, then open up your ISN notebooks and you can annotate inside of those. O Captain, my Captain, our fearful trip is done. The ship has weathered every rack. The prize we sought is won. The port is near. The bells I hear, the people all exulting. Why follow eyes the steady keel, the vessel grim and daring? But oh heart, 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 oh the bleeding drops of red, where on the deck my captain lies, fallen, cold and dead. O Captain, my Captain, rise up and hear the bells, rise up, for you the flag is flung, for you the bugle trills. For you bouquets and ribbon wreaths, for you the shores a-crowding. For you they call the swaying mass, their eager faces turning. Here, Captain, dear father, this arm beneath your head. It is some dream that on the deck you've fallen, cold and dead. My Captain does not answer, his lips are pale and still. My father does not feel my arm, he has no pulse, no will. The ship is anchored safe and sound, its voyage closed and done. From fearful trip the victor ship comes in with object won. Exult, O shores, and ring, O bells! But I, with mournful tread, walk the deck my captain lies, fallen, cold and dead. So this is an elegy, which means it's a poem of reflection or a lament for the dead. So let's go ahead and write that at the top. So elegy, a poem of reflection, a lament for the dead. So let's look at our first line here. O Captain, my Captain, our fearful trip is done. So this ship has been on a very scary trip. The ship has weathered every rack. We're going to circle that. The prize we sought is won. So this ship has weathered every kind of stress that there possibly could be on this scary trip that they took. The port is near, the bells I hear, the people are exulting. So what does exulting mean? Cheering. So they can see the port that they're coming into, they can hear the bells, they see the people on the shore cheering them on, while follow eyes the steady keel. And the keel is a boat hull. The vessel grim and daring. But oh heart, heart, oh the bleeding drops of red, where on the deck my captain lies, fallen, cold and dead. So who is the speaker? Who do you think the speaker is? Our speaker is a sailor on the ship that's coming into this harbor. And what has the sailor realized? He's realized that his captain is lying on the deck and he's bleeding and he appears to be dead. So let's talk about this first stanza here. So just in this one stanza, we hear relief because their fearful trip is done. They're done with this stressful trip that they've been on. There's jubilation. People are cheering them on. They're excited that they're home. And then it switches. And what does it switch to? We switch to shock. We switch to heartache and grief. All right, let's take a look at our second stanza. Oh, Captain, my Captain, rise up and hear the bells. So he's telling him, the sailor's saying, Captain, rise up. Hear these bells that are happening. Rise up. For you the flag is flung. So they're flying this flag for the captain. For you the bugle trills. Trills is kind of a, I don't know if any of you guys are in band or play a trumpet, but trills, they're kind of a shaky sound. So you can imagine, this. He's telling him to rise up to see the flag, to hear the bells, to hear the shaky sound of the bugle. And then he goes on and he tells him that there's bouquets for you. There's bouquets and ribbon wreaths. For you, the shores are crowding. They're crowding with people. For you, they call the swaying mass, their eager faces turning. So these two, bouquet and swaying mass, those are examples of denotation. And what this is showing is that there's life and there's movement and noise on the shore. That says noise, but it's supposed to be all together. Here, Captain, dear father, this arm beneath your head. So the sailor is sitting there with the captain and he's got his arm beneath his head. It is some dream that on the deck you've fallen cold and dead. So we hear and have an example here of repetition. Because we heard that previously in the first stanza. My captain does not answer. His lips are pale and still. What does that tell us about him? That he is dead. My father does not feel my arm. He has no pulse nor will. So he can't feel the sailor holding him there. He doesn't have a heartbeat anymore. The ship is anchored safe and sound. So the ship has gotten home and it is in good condition. From fearful trip, the victor ship comes in with object one. So we've got fearful trip, and then now we've got the opposite. It is now a victor ship. Exulto shores and ringo bells, but I with mournful tread. So he's saying that it's a careful stride. Walk the deck, my captain lies, fallen, cold, and dead. And so here again we've got repetition. And this fallen, cold, and dead, this really shows the importance of the tragic death to the speaker. It also is a form of connotation where it creates a sense of disbelief between what's hard reality and what should be a celebratory event. In this stanza here, we're seeing that there's acceptance. It's also kind of somber tone to it. And we know that our speaker has been unable to celebrate. So we talked about the literal meaning to this poem, but now I want us to look into the extended meaning of this poem, the extended metaphor. So who do you think that the captain is? Right, we've talked about Abraham Lincoln recently, so hopefully you put that together. So our captain is going to be Lincoln. Let's talk about the ship. What about the ship? The ship has been through a lot of stress, a very fearful trip. It's been through a lot. Well, who do you think, or what do you think the ship would be? Whoops, I'm writing it wrong. The USA, that's right. Y'all know Miss Toll, I'm a messy annotator. All right, what about the trip? What do you think the trip stands for, is a metaphor for? The Civil War. Good. And then the price is just they are wanting to keep the Union together. So it's a pretty sad poem, isn't it? Walt Whitman, during that time period, everybody was excited that the Civil War was over, but at the same time, people felt like they needed to celebrate, but then they also lost loved ones, and they were in mourning. And so Walt Whitman wrote this poem to let everybody know that, it's okay to celebrate, but it's also okay to mourn. We lost a lot. Even though we gained a lot, we lost a lot, and we lost our president. And so he wrote this as a reflection for Abraham Lincoln.